Welcome back to Energising Life with AKR Fitness. I'm Jase. I've got Lynsey here.
Hello.
And Michael.
Hello.
I just like throwing the Sunday name at you now.
Suits it.
I like to mix up who I say first just to keep you on your toes.
All right.
Please
Keep you on
do.
your toes. How are we doing?
Doing well today. Yeah. Feeling good.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. What are you feeling good about?
Life.
Ooh. Let's dive into that. So,
That's
Mike,
a
how
whole
are you?
other podcast. That's the Lynsey Gold podcast.
That's the late night radio jazz podcast.
With Lynsey Gold. Anyway.
Mike, how you feeling?
I'm good, Jace. Ready to get stuck into today's content.
Nice. All right. Well, on that, if you listened to episode 1, you know we went through our approach to behavior change, and then we spoke about protein and power down. Today, we're going to talk about eat colourful veg and renew and review. So
We are.
let's get stuck in. Why should we eat colourful veg? That's the question.
Is it maybe in all the diet wars of different people over the years, veg might be the one thing that people agree on? Maybe it's good for you.
Potentially.
People know it's good for you, but is that enough to have them eat it?
No,
No.
probably isn't. But yeah, eat colourful. Like everybody knows, eat your vegetables. Why? Because they have vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients and things that support health. And different colours, we get different things from different types of veg. So everybody eat your vegetables. Good for gut health as well.
Uncle Mike.
Has spoken. So we spoke about having levels in the protein, then we had some time stamps for the powering down. What can we do to get more veg in or eat more colourful
Yeah, well,
veg?
the levels. So again, talking about our program of skills practices at AKR, we have 3 levels for this particular practice. Level 1 is eat 1 to 2 servings of veg a day. Level 2 is 3 to 4, and level 3 is 5 to 6 servings a day. And again, step 1, pick your level. Step 2 is figure out the details, like what are you going to eat? What are you going to eat with it? Do you require recipes? Do you require a shopping list and a trip to the shop?
Yeah.
Like organise yourself a little bit to get them in.
I think quite like the protein, when you're getting it within your meals, breakfast always seems to be the most difficult one to fit in the veggies, especially on a time scale, I would say. Do you guys manage okay?
Ooh, for veggies first thing?
Yeah.
I don't really eat first thing. So
Well, your first breakfast, the first time you eat in the day.
I don't really put veg in it. That's you got me there.
Yeah.
So not the difference though, because with the protein one we said level 3 is eating a dense source of protein at each meal. Mm-hmm. But for the veg one, we're not saying at each meal. We're saying level 3 is 5 to 6 portions in your day. So maybe you don't have veg at your breakfast. Mm-hmm. I do now. Like I changed my breakfast recently to have a big breakfast, and I have some cherry tomatoes in there at breakfast time.
Is that a vegetable?
Officially, I think tomatoes may be a fruit,
It
but
is.
I think it's generally accepted as a vegetable, and I'm going with that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't put it in a fruit salad, can you?
Actually, people have asked, when we do the skill practices, does fruit count in this one? Can it be fruit and veg? Mm-hmm. And yes, you want to eat fruit and veg.
Yeah.
I would say, like vegetables in particular, because people maybe don't do such a great job with them. But we say fruit and veg as well. So fruit is sometimes a bit more palatable for people in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Here's something I hear all the time. I don't like any veg. Thoughts on that?
My thought on that is I genuinely think it's too broad a category to dismiss as you don't like it, because how sometimes say like raw vegetables taste different from cooked vegetables, and even within that, like carrots taste different from broccolis, which taste different from
Peppers.
Did I say broccolis? Broccolis. Did I just say broccoli? There's so much in vegetables as a category. There's so many different things, like to dismiss them all in a wonder. And usually when someone says that to me and you start going through things one by one, you can usually find 2 or 3 things that actually I do like that.
Yeah.
Butternut squash tastes so different from celery. for instance.
That's fair enough.
A lot of people don't like celery.
Oh,
And then there are ways that you sneak them in. You can mix a smoothie or a soup or, salad, frittata I mentioned before. There's so many different ways to get vegetables in your diet.
Yeah. You manage all right getting vegetables in your diet?
I think, do you know what's one thing that can be trickier is that they're generally, I would eat them fresh. So if you're doing one food shop a week, sometimes by the end of the week, you don't have as much.
That's when it goes into a surprise
left or something.
The dregs go into the surprise on a Sunday for the week.
Back to Lynsey's cookbook.
Well.
I feel that, what was that, the protein episode?
Yeah.
Lynsey will talk about her cookbook.
Promoting.
It's coming out soon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the other thing I used to do back in the day was try, and when I went to the supermarket, buy different veg, because it's easy just to get in the same habit of eating the, cucumber, tomato, and lettuce or something like that.
I'm within that habit. I don't venture far from like peppers, onions, cucumber, tomato, lettuce, spinach, broccolis. I'll always just use the same stuff. Not that I don't like anything else, but it's habit just to eat it, and I know what I'm cooking with it, and every week I know what I'm doing with it, and I'm happy with that.
So a challenge for you every now and then.
Yeah.
Go to the supermarket, try and buy one different thing.
I don't even know where I would start. See, most of my veg is frozen. I just buy pre-cut, pre-ready, pre-packaged, frozen veg, and heat it up when needed, I guess. So but actually, now that you've said that, all the bags of frozen veg I buy tend to have the same veg in it.
Yeah.
It seems to be peas, carrots, sweet corn, and broccoli. A little bit of cauliflower here and there. But
I think that's really smart to have that, because I think half the battle is actually cutting it up to put it into something. A lot of people find that annoying. They don't like that process.
yeah, it's being prepared.
Yeah, listen, it's a bit of a dry topic, but there are lots of ways, lots of strategies and things that people can do to make vegetables a bigger part of their life.
I tell you what, before we don't want to keep going on about veg at the risk of sounding like eat your vegetables. Let's go one tip each, and then we're going to get stuck into review and renew. So Mike, give us a tip for veg. How can we get more colourful veg in your day? And you just gave one to Lynsey, so it could be, you can use that again, repurpose.
Use that same one.
Repurpose.
Just buy a different vegetable at the supermarket, or find a recipe that has, again, the person who says they don't like veg, there's some veg, they go to a barbecue and there's grilled peppers on a burger or something. I don't know.
Lovely.
I just made that one up. I'd never had that before.
Coming down for a barbecue.
But there's some type of veg that they like, and yeah.
All right, Lynsey, what's your tip?
Well, I've said one already. Have it pre-cut in the fridge and add it to soups or stir fries.
Brilliant. Frozen veg is my tip. Just buy a bunch of frozen veg. Keep it in the freezer. Well, obviously keep it in the freezer. I wouldn't keep it anywhere else. Don't put frozen veg in the cupboard. Disclaimer. And just use it as and when you feel you're lacking in veg.
I've got a good question for it though.
Go on then.
Would you or do you keep your potatoes and onions in the fridge or the cupboard if they're not frozen?
I was half expecting, would you rather be a potato or potato or a tomato?
Come on. Where do they live?
I'm a fridger.
A fridger?
Yeah, that's what the fruit and veg drawer's for.
I'm not sure.
Or fruit and veg.
Where do you get it from in the shopping centre though?
In the freezer.
Well, Mike, come on.
They don't stay in the fridge. They stay. We don't actually buy potatoes that often, actually, but they stay near the fruit bowl.
You have a potato bowl?
They stay near the fruit bowl.
I just wanted to clarify that.
We don't buy them often.
Mm-hmm.
Questions that, tear people apart. Eh?
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to renew and review. My first question is, what is renew?
What is renew? Well, yeah, so this one is renew and review.
Yeah,
and
we'll break it down.
There's two different parts there. Renewal, first of all, is different. It's different from just rest, and it's different from just relaxation.
Yeah.
Renewal is, you feel a bit revived, a bit more energized, a bit more recovered. That could be physically, mentally, emotionally afterwards. And as we understand it, there are 4 different types of renewal activity, 4 different sort of broad headings. And these are mindfulness, compassion, hope, and play activities.
Yeah, this sounds good. So we'll start at the top of that list and dig a little deeper, shall we?
Yeah.
So mindfulness, what is it, and what is it, and then what does it mean to you?
Mindfulness is like awareness or being present in the moment, I think.
Yeah.
Essentially, there's all...
Fully engaged.
Engaged, that's a great word,
Yeah.
I think. And I think people, when they can take that moment, switch the autopilot off for a moment, and, one of our options that we give for people is just bring more awareness to things. So when you're going for a walk, just be aware, look at the sky, feel the wind on your face, the breath in your lungs, just
Take your earphones out.
Yeah.
Or here in Aberdeen, the rain in your face.
and the seagulls.
And the seagulls.
No, but that it's just, it's being present, being engaged, things like that. And it can, be a restorative and renewal thing, to do that. That people have it when they go on holiday, because you're and it really is impactful for
Feel
me.
that sun on that heat on your face.
It's not just that, but it's like you're taking a time out, and I think people are more inclined to do it because the sights and the sounds and the things are new and novel and different.
Well, you come off autopilot when you're on holiday.
Yeah, and the time when you're there feels like it passes slower and stuff. There's so many sights and things to take in. And I think if we can get a snapshot of that, that's one way to practice mindfulness.
Lynsey, what's your experiences with mindfulness?
I think just taking a step back and breathing. I remember my mum used to take a step back and breathe for 10 seconds if I annoyed her at all. So like breathing is very important.
I can just picture your mum going, 1,
count to 10, Lynsey, count to 10. But even that in itself, that's her bringing our awareness back to her and not flipping the lid, shall we say, and breathing and controlling it, and then, okay, then we shall go. But yeah, breathing's a big thing.
Did you do anything else?
I've said it already, going for walks. Normally, maybe I'd have a podcast, listen to a book, but recently, since moving out of Aberdeen, I've got a lot of countryside around, so I'll have the earphones out and just be present in the walk and enjoy the sights, the smells, the feels.
I think that's important. Be where you are. I remember, like, I'm not great at this, to be honest. Like, I go through phases, like I'll get a reminder or I'll be on holiday or something. I'm like, okay, I could do better here. I remember this one time, it was before I opened the gym, when I was a freelance trainer, and I was doing my workout. I trained a few people in the morning. I was doing my workout. And I remember doing my workout and my head was already right, okay, I'm going to go home, I'm going to get my shower, I'm going to do and my head was running away with the rest of the day. And I thought, shut up a sec, just quiet yourself a moment and just be in your body, and enjoy the moment, enjoy the session, and get to that other stuff later. And I think it is far more restorative to do that, to just be present. Difficult.
I'm still quite bad for that actually. During a session, I'll still be, all right, now I need to do this and I need to do that, and before you know it, whoa, what rep am I on? Where am I here? What am I doing? Where did this bar come from?
I'd say exercise is the one thing for me that completely shuts me off. I don't think about anything else when I'm in training.
Yeah.
That's why I do it, really. But yeah, I'm very present when training.
Nice. It's
a good one for me is journaling. I think I try and get in the habit of that.
Yeah.
Every morning, just writing, or most mornings, some mornings, writing something. It can just be a little check-in, self-check-in, how you feel physically, mentally, emotionally, broadly in your life and things like that. And I think it can just help in that.
I hope you call that Mike's Mindfulness Minute. Or if you don't, you should.
I can start. Do you want me to start?
Put that in there.
That was one of the ones that we had for people, though, was like, again, to start a practice, we want to have a very low barrier to entry, because getting started is the difficult part. And so that was, I can't remember if I read it in a book somewhere, but it was like, okay, let's practice 1 mindful minute. So find a minute in your day. Again, we might need a cue, set an alarm or something. It's like, okay, for the next minute, I'm going to focus on my breathing, or I'm going to go for a walk and focus on how my body feels, how the world feels under my feet, or how the sky looks, or what the sounds are.
It's funny you should mention that. I've actually been doing that recently. I listened to a podcast. Who's it? Oh, I think it was by Jason Ackerman, and he talks about freeze minute. So he has an alarm set up. It'll go off at some point in the morning, some point in the afternoon, some point in the evening, and it's just what are you doing, how are you feeling about it, and what's happening next.
A self-check-in.
Self-check-in. So I was like, I've been doing that, and every now and again the alarm goes off. What is that for? Like, oh yeah, right, okay.
Do you find it easy just to stop and?
No, I find it really, really challenging. The entire thing I find challenging, because I obviously the questions that pop up on the alarm, and it's like, what are you doing? Well, I'm reading this.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing it? Because the alarm went off. So like I have to.
You can't see beyond that.
Yeah, no, I have to. But at the same time, it's good because then I have to think about it. Mm-hmm. So no, because I'll do it and I'll be like, well, I'm standing here reading this, and then I think, no, let's get into it a little bit more. Right? What am I actually doing? Well, this is what I was doing. How am I feeling about it? This is what I was feeling.
You're taking small steps to practice the skill, Jase.
Exactly.
I think, do you know what? I think that's why people find this sort of thing difficult, is because the value of doing it isn't apparent immediately. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why, like, I've tried in the past to, even do some meditation apps and things like that. And whether it's not for me or it's not the right time, or just sometimes I feel like I'm not sure what the value is here. However, there are other things I do in my life that I am mindful in and I'm getting something from. So going back to like my little stretch in my 5-minute flow in the morning is a moment of mindfulness where I'm like really paying attention to how my body feels and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think sometimes people can put themselves in a box of what it should be or what it should look like or what it should mean as well. And if they can get over that and say, like, mindfulness can be anything, it's just being a little bit more present for a moment.
Yeah. Same with, you get a lot of these journals that have preempted questions in it. I've got one called the 6-minute journal, and apparently it's meant to be the first 3 minutes of your day. You sit down and you write 3 things you're grateful for and what you're going to do today that would make you have a really good day. And every other week it gives you questions, different questions, so you have to make sure you actually read. You can't just go on and be like, well, I'm grateful for the heating, I'm grateful for coffee, because that might not be the question that day. So it does make you fully engaged in it. It's, again, it's something that I don't want to offend anyone, so I'll disclaim it straight away. It was something I thought was really quite airy-fairy to start with. I was like, why am I writing this down? But the more I do it, the more I get it. I can't tell you what it is, but I get it. I'm like, okay, I think it sets me up in a better place in my mind where I'm a little bit more thankful for things, and just the world seems a little bit less downish.
Messy.
I think there's more and more research to say that a gratitude practice is one of the most effective ways to
cheer yourself up.
Yeah, and improve your levels of general levels of happiness and well-being and things like that.
Nice. So that's mindfulness. What was the next one, Mike?
Compassion.
Compassion. Tell us a little bit about compassion.
So compassion can be for self and it can be for others. So first of all, like just touching on self-compassion, I feel like in doing this job that we do, like you meet so many people that are just beating themselves up constantly.
To the point where you almost feel like they hate themselves, like they just hate
where they're at.
Yeah. So as a general thing, I think most of us, I'd include myself as well, like we're a bit hard on ourselves and we could do better with self-compassion. But in terms of like a renewal activity, it's doing something nice, taking time out for yourself, getting a massage, maybe it's a walk.
Taking a bath?
Taking a bath, yeah. Like
Mike loves a bath, if you didn't already know.
I'm going to contest this.
Baths are brilliant for 5 minutes.
What I'll say, because on this topic, right, I don't love a bath, but I don't always feel that I have many things in my toolbox for a renewal activity. And a renewal activity can be going for a walk and things like that, but I'm already quite active, and when I'm feeling like burned out, it's like, I need something that's not...
You need something opposite.
I need something that's not physical activity that feels like it's going to be renewing for me, and the bath's an easy one.
It'll make you feel better, definitely.
It's an easy one for me.
They're few and far between, I think, for people that, like us who are doing the training, like you said, are going for the walks, are doing the broader scope of things to make us feel good. So it's finding that balance, like we've touched on it already, with fake relaxation. It's at this point, will taking a bath make me feel better than watching a Netflix series?
I love that. Fake relaxation.
Like,
that is
that's
brilliant.
where it's at. That's where I struggle. Like am I going to feel better sitting on the sofa for an hour, or am I going to feel better doing some like stretching or yoga or whatever? Like it's difficult to find that balance and what makes you feel better.
I'll maybe jump in on that. So that fake relaxation and hard but helps. That was the two things that I shared a few years back with some of our members. And fake relaxation is that thing that it's appealing in the moment, but you're pulled to it when you're tired, but it doesn't actually make you feel that much better. So that's collapsing in front of the sofa and watching. Like, rarely do you jump off the sofa and think, geez, don't I just feel great after watching 4 episodes of whatever, Like, you tend not to. And don't get me wrong, like, I sit down and watch programs, and sometimes you do just want to zone out. But it's not that restorative, I don't think. And there's loads, like, going through the food cupboard and eating all the sweets and chocolate, like it's fake relaxation. You feel better just for a second. Hard but helps. They're the ones that take a little bit of effort in the moment, but ultimately, well, they do help. You feel a little bit better. So that's maybe like doing some stretching at home, you feel, or even cleaning up the house, or, things like that, reading.
Or even reaching out to a friend.
Yeah, picking up the phone.
A chat, just something.
Yeah, that's kind of moving into compassion for others as well, which you just mentioned that's on the list. So self-compassion and compassion for others, right?
Yeah, so one of the quickest, easiest ways to feel better about yourself is to help someone else, or even like pick up the phone, chat with a friend, just the interaction. But we've said before so many times as coaches, you're working like long days, and you get up in the morning, or you just, people have got stuff, coaches have things going on in their own lives, and it's not easy, but you come in, you put on the smile, you bring the energy, you help someone else, and actually it helps you.
You feel
like,
better.
The more you serve someone in that session, like, the better you feel. And obviously the listeners, most of them I would expect are not coaches or personal trainers, but it's a way to restore your own energy, is to
even just
pick someone else up.
You see a car coming out of a garage, if you like, and you can let them go. Something as small as that makes you feel it's a good deed to the day. Yeah,
feels good. So we've got mindfulness, we've got compassion,
and hope is number 3 on the list.
You want me to jump in? Hope's a massive one for me. I'm a very future oriented person, and again, if I feel myself low or burned out, one of the best things I can do is carve out some time at weekend to just like do some future planning. What's 1 year, 5 year, 10 years from now, what are things going to look like? It fires me up, it renews my energy like few other things do. I mean, difficulty with that is like, it's not something I could do every weekend.
No.
But periodically, it's a good one.
I think I'm the complete opposite from Mike for hope. I'm not really a forward thinker. I've got one eye on it, and I know in maybe a year tops where I want to be, what I want to be doing. And I don't know if it freaks me out thinking that far ahead, but I'm happy just sitting back a little bit, being a bit more present, and getting excited for like my holiday, or what's coming up in the year. Am I going to my sister's wedding? Is there a festival coming on? Yeah. So
the thing is, though, it's the same thing. It's just not so far in the future. And I remember, like, when I was a kid, my mum always, I don't know, she always said this, but she would say, I always feel like you need something to look forward to. Just everybody in life. Yeah. Hope is powerful, and do you have something, be it next week, next month, or further in the future? Do you have something to look forward to? And I think when people spend time focused on that as an activity, it's one of those renewal things. Yeah.
And then we're moving on to my favourite, which is play. Play for me is massive. Like, I love trying new things, and that really energizes me, especially if I'm not good at it, which sounds bizarre, because then I now have something to work on, I have something to progress in, I have something that will make me I can chip away at and feel better at doing.
Be fully engaged in.
And fully engaged in. Like try to think about anything else when you're trying to balance on a paddleboard. Like, did I do that, Bill?
No
splash.
way. No way.
The funny thing is, what you're describing there actually combines everything we've spoken about, because you have to be mindful and engaged when you're exploring something new. The compassion part is actually giving yourself the time, because how many people in their lives would feel guilty about giving themselves time to do something like that, or they not even guilty, it might feel impossible.
Yeah.
And then the hope you've talked about, like, now I've got something I can improve at.
Yeah.
You know, so everything comes together in that one example.
Do you have any play that you like? That sounded very ominous.
Do you like to play?
I think I mentioned it.
Play a game.
I mentioned it in a previous one, but for me, and again, I would like to do it more, and I'm probably in that camp of not carving out the time for myself. There's always something that feels more important, but going up to the local park with my football and my boots and just mucking around. I love just doing keepy ups, and you know, I could literally.
We got a few episodes in before you mentioned football.
I know.
Yeah,
you've done well.
Impressed.
And it's like, I would say, like, I could go back to last year. There was a part of the year where I was like completely and utterly burned out.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking a couple of weeks, like once the gym was back up and running again, and I tried to schedule things, and I went to the beach, a secluded beach. I went for some hill walks and just tried to get present and in the moment. I did my journaling, and I planned out, okay, where am I going from here now that, the business is open again? I put my boots on, I think in the fortnight, like 4 or 5 times I went up and just mucked around with the football and just played. And when I came back, it's funny because, I'm not ashamed to say, but when I was really struggling last year, like I ended up going to see the doctor and getting various medical tests and whatever to find out like what was going on. And all I needed was some restorative and renewal activities. So I took 2 weeks off work and I did these things, and there was nothing wrong with me. I just needed a break, and I needed to, again, some renewal activities.
Yeah.
And I think the part of this skill practice, so we're not saying that everybody has to do all these all the time, but what we say to our members is, like, maybe pick 1, 2, 3 of them and schedule them in, because you're better not doing what I did, was like run into a brick wall, burn out, and have to take 2 weeks. But you're better to try and thread them through your life so that you can.
It doesn't make you go into the burnout.
Yeah, a rested you is a better you.
Planning in that rest within the year, it's something that you do now, is it?
Yeah, well, I think that was typically in a year. I have a calendar where there's, like, when we spoke in the last episode, maybe like a work trip away or a holiday away or things like that. And when the calendar went away during the pandemic, left to my own devices, I just worked myself into a rut.
There was no stop.
Yeah, I didn't have those natural things. And I think the scheduling part on all of these skill practices we're talking about is such a key thing, because if you don't put it in the calendar, it's not going to get done.
Lynsey, you mentioned festivals.
Yeah.
I take it music's a big key for mindfulness and compassion and play for you.
I think just going to music festivals for 3-4 days and completely switching off and being present with the people around you. Everybody's almost in the same bubble there. They're all experience the same thing at the same time, and nobody's really thinking about anything else. Listening to the music, enjoying the vibe, and yeah, they're my switch off.
You sound quite passionate.
Yeah,
about it.
I am, and I'm missing them, so bring them back.
It's like that flow state,
Yeah.
in the zone, in the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Oh well, I think that's
review.
That was renew.
Renew.
The renew. So the other part of renew was review, which I know you're quite a big fan of. Mike, you want to talk to us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so again, we've got renew and review. So the review part is, I guess, kind of like a little bit of a self-check-in.
Self-audit.
Yeah, well, audit sounds a bit more scary or daunting or something.
So it's weird. Like it's literally an audit for me, because I try and formalize it a little bit with spreadsheets and numbers and feelings and happy faces. And
I'm also a spreadsheet person for this sort of thing. But
team spreadsheet.
For people, if they check in and say, okay, again, even you could take these 7 skills and say, okay, where am I at with this one? How am I doing with power down? Am I getting my veggies? am I burned out? Okay, am I doing renewal activities? It's just checking in. It's like, okay, what about workouts, or what about social relationships, or what about finances, or have a little review. And if people can do that every month or every quarter, they're far more likely to stay on track.
Yeah, it just sounds like we've said it so many times, getting the basics right, and if they're not working for you, why? And going back to your when life works list, just seems like it all comes together with that, and that's what's so good about reviewing it. Yeah,
like I said, one of our members mentioned to me just last week that something I'd shared, the month before hit home with her, because I'd said that I find it extremely doubtful that I'm going to suddenly find myself 5 or 10 kilos overweight, because I step on the scales frequently. So I would catch it before. And I think if people have a regular review every month, there's only so far you can go off track before you catch yourself. And it's the same with personal finance or in business. There's certain performance indicators that we have to check on a monthly basis. And if we're not, I don't want to open up the bank account one day and say, oh, it's finished. It's finished. Yeah. You have to check, okay, well, we've got this new members coming in, or, a few members have left, or, you need I like the idea of a dashboard. That's what my spreadsheet is to me. It's a little dashboard where each week I put in how many steps I've done, how many workouts I've done, using our MyZone device, how many MyZone effort points I got that month, that week. What was my average weight for the week if I step on the scales each day? And again, I don't step on the scales for obsessing. I don't even care that much about my weight, but I can step on every day. It syncs to my Fitbit, and at the end of the week I put in the spreadsheet. And then I can also put my average sleep for the week, and I think my resting heart rate, and there I've got my dashboard.
And then will you look at that at the end of each quarter and see if there's any similarities or changes you need to make?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, generally, because most of it's routine, I'm in phase, it doesn't change that much. And the longer, so this is the issue if people get hung up on their weight. If you weigh yourself and you scrutinise that number on a day-to-day basis, it's up 2 kilos or it's down 2 kilos. But if you zoom out to a week, there's less changes. But if you zoom out to a month or a year, and now I've got more, I've got a couple of years of this data now, and I can put graphs, and I can see the changes. But the point of the review is, I check in, I know where I'm at, and if I'm going way off track, or if I don't like the numbers, I can address it. Yeah.
It's just the KPIs to life.
Yeah, it's a little dashboard. So renew and review.
You were saying you're not a spreadsheet fan.
Not that I'm not a fan. I've just never used it.
No.
I'll check in on myself. Maybe the end of each week on a Sunday, I'll sit and write my calendar for the week, and I'll reflect on what the week past was like. But that's probably how far I'll go. So I have an eye on what's coming next and reflect a little bit on what I've done well and what I haven't, and then see if I can make changes week to week.
Nice.
I think this is great though, because
there's so
obviously, especially if people notice, Lynsey and I are completely different personalities. And what we're not saying is that everybody must keep a spreadsheet and weigh themselves every day.
No.
We're not, there's
even you and I, your spreadsheet sounds way more complex than mine.
The thing is, it's all I do is open up the Fitbit app and open up the MyZone app and type the numbers in once a week. But the point is that there's so many different ways. There's general principles. So the principle is renewal and some sort of periodic review, more than just the 1st of January, is a helpful activity for most people. What that looks like for you could be different. You could focus more on the play, or more on the mindfulness, or more on the compassion, or you could have a spreadsheet or not. Maybe it's just a little self-checking.
Yeah. So just on that, we talking about the levels to help people out. Do you have any levels that we can use for renew and review?
For these ones, I think all we've got is, here's a list of different activities in the 4 categories that we've spoken about.
Yeah.
Pick 1 to 3 of them and schedule them in.
And do them anyway.
Plan it in, do it anyway.
All right, Lynsey, you got anything you want to add?
No, I think we've said everything we need to on those.
Mike?
No.
Wrap this up.
Yeah.
We're good? Yeah. All
perfect.
Right. That's it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we appreciate a rating, a review, a 5-star review only, though. Don't do none of those 4s. We're on YouTube, Spotify. I said Apple already, didn't I?
I can say it again.
And Apple. There you go. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.